enemies be scattered. Let them also that hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away, and wax melteth before the fire. So let the wicked perish at the presence of the I am. But let the righteous be glad, and let them rejoice before Tatanzambi. Yea, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing on to Sanini Ainini. Sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Yah. And rejoice before him. A father of the fatherless, a judge of widows. He is, I am, in his holy habitation. The I am setteth the solitary in families, and he bringeth out those which are bound with chains. But the rebellious dwell in a dry land. O Yahuwah, when thou wentest forth before thy people, when thou didst march through the wilderness, Selah, the earth shook and the heavens also dropped at the presence of God. Even Sinai itself was moved at the presence of the I am of Israel. Thou, O Yahuwah, didst send a plentiful rain, whereby didst confirm thy inheritance when it was weary. Thy congregation have dwelt therein. O Sanini Nanini has prepared of thy goodness for the poor. The I am gave the word. Great was the contemporary, or the company of those that published it. The kings of armies did flee apace, and she that tarried at home divide the spoils. Though ye lean among the pots, yet shall you be as wings of a dove covered with silver, and her feathers with yellow gold. When the Almighty scattered kings in it, it was as white as snow in Salmon. The king of the hill of the I am is as the hill of Bashan, as an high hill as the hill of Bashan. Why leap ye, ye high hills? This is the hill which God desireth to dwell in. Yea, the I am will dwell in it forever. The chariots of the I am are 20,000, even thousands of angels or spirits. The I am is among them in Sinai and in the holy place. Thou hast ascended on high, and thou hast led captivity captive. Thou hast received gifts for men, yea, for the rebellious also, that the I am might dwell among them. Blessed be the I am, who daily loadeth us with benefits, even the God of our salvation, Selah. Psalms chapter 68, verses 1 through 19. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, hallelujah, hallelujah. We thank God. We thank him for his mercy and his favor. We thank him for his mercy and his favor. He that sitteth above the mercy seat, in whom has all things pertaining. Yes, and we thank the Most High, even for you. Yes, yes, yes. I think on this Psalms here, many have attributed some of the passages of this psalm to the coming of their so-called Isus. But he's really talking about Jerusalem. He's talking about the hill in which, or some call it a mountain. It depends on the language. Sometimes we can take languages and think that that hill that Jerusalem or that the temple sits on, they call it a mount. Mount Sinai. Really it is. You tell a lad that sits on a mount. But you say, well, but here he calls it a hill. So we have to really find out what really is it, and what do they call it? Well, we know there's a temple up there, and it matches the description of the temple which Solomon built, and Herod, built also. It might be the temple of Herod. I don't know if Herod built the temple, or it might still be his Solomon's temple. Period. I don't think Herod built any type of temple. If he did, where is it? Or is it in that other Jerusalem that they're talking about? But the temple of Solomon, it matches that description. But either way, as you go back through Psalm 68, notice how they've taken some of the passages and used them as prophecy to get you to believe on this New Testament theory or this New Testament concoction. So a lot of things in the New Old Testament that they have done this, and really they're not talking about that. It's about the context. It's about what the thought of the author or the one who's making that praise. This was a praise. This was a praise, and also it was contributing to things, and it was praising God and contributing to Him the things that He has done. And that's what we have to understand. It's just a praise. And it's a thanksgiving for what God has done. That's what it is. And He's telling it through a song called the Psalm 68. Now, we're in the book of 2 Kings, still in 2 Kings, and here we are. Jerusalem is on, or should I say, the children of Israel are on a downward spiral. On 1 Kings in chapter 13, on a downward spiral. Number one, it started with Saul, then with David, but David was forgiven. He had to make a choice, not in this chapter, but in the next chapters we will find out. And it was that Absalom, by the circumstance that Absalom, that approached Absalom, even to his sister being forced to lay with her own brother, it called for, because the sin of rape is as the sin of murder, and therefore it called a seeker of blood, because he killed his sister. He murdered his sister. Yes, he murdered his sister, coveting something he could not have, that was forbidden from the Most High. Yes, they did it in the beginning. Yes, with Adam and Eve, you say they were brother and sister, but were they really? You had in the book of see, if you can't believe in the book of Jubilees, you can't believe in the book of Genesis. Not as one who says, because it denotes that Cain, when his sisters got of age, he took them as wives. This is what he did. He took them as wives. And from then on and thus far, they took in this, and even unto Abraham, it wasn't that too far gone that he even took his own sister as a wife. But then it got to the point where now the population is up, and God says, no. No more. This was just to not replenish, but plenish the earth. So that was a mistranslation. Replenish the earth. It doesn't match. It doesn't match the other narratives. No, it was plenish the earth. In other words, the animals, were they supposed to replenish the earth? He just told them to be fruitful and multiply, but he told the man something else. So apparently that was a misnomer. It shouldn't have been there. But that's just my opinion. But it shouldn't have been there. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all. I mean, because you have to look at it, God created the animals also. Who knows what God was in his mind thinking or dealing with when he created the animals, and then after he got through creating the animals, he created man. So there was something God was coming up with. Maybe he was using the animals as they delight him every day, even down to the depths of the sea, because God can go down there and he don't feel no pressure, because he created that pressure that they might live in it. And keep your bothersome tail, old man, out of there, because he knew the curiosity of man, and that there was be nothing that man would not try to do. Yes. Now we're in the book of 1 Kings. 1 Kings chapter 13. And it reads, and behold, there came a man of God out of Judah, or Yasharal, or whatever you want to call it, by the word of the I Am unto Bethel, means house of the I Am. And Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense. And he cried against the altar in the word of the I am, and said, O altar, altar, thus saith the I am, behold, a child is born unto the house of David. No, he's not talking about your Isis, because we know you'll take every opportunity to say that's Isis. Josiah by name. Now this is by Josiah. This is the son of Solomon. And upon thee shall he offer the priests of the high places that burn incense upon thee, and men's bones shall be burnt upon thee. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, this is the sign which the I am has spoken. Behold, the altar shall be rent, and the ashes that are upon it shall be poured out. In other words, he's talking about Israel. All right. Now, and it came to pass when the king Jeroboam heard the saying of the man of God, which he had cried out against the altar of Bethel, that he put forth his hands from the altar, saying, lay hold on him. And his hand, which he put forth against him, dried up, so that he could not pull it in again to him. Wow. That's anointing, isn't it? God can still do these things these days, but you will call it witchcraft or juju. God's got a lot of things that you don't know about and that you question, or but you might attribute it to other spirits. But does not God direct spirits to do certain things himself? And you attribute it to something else? This is why back in the Bible they attributed a lot of things to the Most High. Because he controls spirits, evil and good. And we have to remember the evil is toward you. If your evil is evil, that somebody good bring retribution toward you because you have done evil. So they have brought evil to you. We have to realize evil is a matter of perception. Not that it's good. It's evil to go against and have other gods before God. That's evil toward the Most High. Evil to your neighbor when you sit up there and lie and bear false witness against him, or lay with his wife or a woman, her husband. Because even if he has many wives, still he's a husband to that one woman, regardless whether she shares him with many or few or none. Now, and the king answered and said unto the man of God, entreat now the face of the I am thy God, and pray for me, that my hand may be restored me again. And the man of God besought the I am, and the king's hands was restored to him again, and became as it was before. This was pure power. Some of you which you had it, you will seek Satans and demons and everything else to get this sort of power. This is the essence of witchcraft. This is the essence of men and women trying to be as God or gods. Yes, this is what they want. This is what we want. This is why money is the only, money and riches and fame are for some the avenue to power. When I have power, I can get people to do what I want. I can influence them to, it's a form of witchcraft. Men sell drugs and money and items, become rich because some of the people who desire such things because of the man, they become rich and then begin to get enticed by the devils and think they own the whole world, even to the point where they can poison and kill and steal and destroy and cause diseases and everything. Oh, I'm as God. I can do this. Hint, hint. Now, and the man of God besought God. In verse 7, and the king said unto the man of God, come home with me, and refresh thyself, and I will give thee a reward. And the man of God said unto the king, if thou wilt give me half thine house, I will not go in with thee. Neither will I eat bread nor drink the water in this place. That's because the man of God knew that his reward was much greater with God than it is in anything with any item on earth. And this is the way it has to be with you, child of Jacob. and those who would beseech God for and follow the house of Israel according to the prescriptions that God had prescribed for it. You have to count this life as nothing. Because the law is the way, the truth, and the life. Jesus is not the law. It's the law is the way. The law is truth, and the law is life, even as it is sung in the Psalms. Do you not get this? That's why God doesn't need anybody beside him. He's already put out what is the way, the truth, and the life. Even the law that was passed down all the way to Adam, all the way to Noah. It was given to Noah by Enoch, and Methuselah gave it to his son Enoch, and then Enoch gave it to Noah, and Noah gave it, he taught it to his sons, and they put it, they had it in a scroll, because that's what is written of. It wasn't just by word of mouth. Only reason it got by word of mouth was because the fact is it disappeared in Egypt. And then God reiterated back in the mount. And then all of a sudden, the Israel got scattered, and they would only have verses and pieces of it. And they related by mouth. And this is where you get this word of mouth stuff from. But it was written. But those pieces still existed. Some of it was copied. That's where you get your Dead Sea Scrolls and all these other things. Yes. See, you got a lot of studying to do, brothers, sisters. Got a lot of things to think about. Let us continue. The man of God didn't accept nothing. In verse 9, he says, "For it was so charged me by the word of the I am, said, eat no bread, drink no water, nor turn again by the same way that thou camest." This is a commandment to him from the I am. So he went another way and returned not by the way that he came to Bethel. Now there dwelt an old prophet in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all the works of the man of God that had done that day in Bethel, and the words which he had spoken unto the king. Them that told also, they told also to their father. And their father said unto him, what way he went? For his sons had seen what way the man of God went, which came from Judah. And he said unto his sons, saddle me an ass. So they saddled him an ass, and he rode thereon. And he went after the man of God and found him sitting under an oak. Oh, oak trees in that part of the country. Let me tell you something, man. That even by scientific reasoning, the Sahara and everything up above the Sahel was vast and luscious at one time before it became desert. There's a reason God made that area desert. The land of Israel, as you see it, was lavish and luscious, had forests and trees and bears and tigers and lions and everything out of there, even up to the part of Europe. But now God has caused that place to be mostly desolate. Yes, it's desolate. It was neither cold nor hot there. It's really still that way. Now, nor in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water with thee in this place. For it was said by me of the word of the I am, that thou shalt eat no bread nor drink no water here, nor turn again to go by the way that thou camest. And he said unto him, I'm a prophet. Oh yeah, child of Jacob. I'm a preacher. I have a camp. I'm the leader of this camp. This is the way it should be. But God told you something. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. God told you something. You shall not lie. Don't lie. Don't lie. Don't bear false witness. Don't covet your neighbor's goods, his wife, his husband or wife or children or whatever is the neighbor. Don't covet those things. Don't desire those things. It's the same thing. Don't commit adultery. God told you all these things. But yet I'm a prophet. It's okay if you're effeminate. And God said, if a man lie with a man and do that which he would do with a woman, it is confusion. It is a big sin. He said, kill him. That's what he told Israel. That your land may be cleansed. What do you mean by clean? You see, you're looking at definitions here. What he means by clean is the fact that people will see and fear, and their heart will be cleansed to the point where they will fear to do such things or even conceive such thoughts, because they know the consequences of that which they do in the land. And he had purposed man to do this thing at first. But now, I'm going to wait on the Lord going to get him. The Lord told Israel to do the deeds. And then you got this Jesus going to change the whole law. Woman sat down and she wrote, what he say? The fictitious story they wrote. See, now the fact is, even Mary should have been put to death, because she pops up with a baby out of nowhere, according to that narrative. She'd have been put to death. Even her own husband. So the whole thing was an abomination, even whether it was by spirit of God, it was still against the law of the Most High. How in the world? And then he runs to Egypt to hide the abomination, the sin. Would God sit down and lay with another man's wife in sin? Or would he charge another spirit to overshadow another man's wife in sin? When he have caused and said, hey, reproduce after your kind. That was the commandment right there that went forth, and the seed knows what to do with the egg. It don't need nothing in there to form no baby. It don't need no immaculate conception. We are so stupid. I'll put it, stupid. That is so ludicrous. A 6-year-old, if you tell them the law and show them what God has said, and they would deduct it. Mathematical equations in word math would tell you this does not compute. I'm about to drop something here. But it does not compute. Period. There's a cup of water here, but either way, it didn't get nowhere. But either way, it does not compute. But let us continue. He said, but it was said to me, now he lied. Even so, even if he spoke by a spirit, it was a lying spirit, because God told the prophet what to do. Thou shalt eat no bread, drink no water here, nor turn again to go by the way that thou camest. And he said unto him, I am a prophet also, as thou art. And an angel spake unto me. Ain't no angel spake to him. He lying. This is why you do, if God give you a commandment, you don't believe any other spirit or any other word. And then they come back here, Paul, if a spirit or another angel speak that gospel which we have spoken to you, let him be called accursed. So you're going to speak the law, and God told you about the law, and you're cursed because you tell about the law. But the Trinity is what Paul and them told you, huh? The law is the way, the truth, and the life. It's not a man. It's the spoken word that God had spoke, that he written on a tablet. If anything, that word was in stone before you say, oh, it's in flesh, I'll tell you what to do. And who was Esau to command anybody a piece of flesh, a lump of lard, or whatever you want to call it? No, I don't hate him, but I'm telling you something that you ought to use common sense. It's just plain old common sense for he that knows the word of the Most High. Now, or Yahushai, or Yahusha, or whatever you going to call him, out of some other language, yeah. Now, he went back with him and did eat bread in his house and drank water. He failed. He failed God because he put a man above God, number one. He took the word of another man other than what he had received from the Most High and knew it was the Most High that told him this. And it came to pass that they sat at the table that the word of the I am came unto the prophet that brought him back. And he cried unto the man of the I am that came from Judah, saying, Thus saith the I am, for as much as thou hast obeyed the mouth of the I am, thou hast not kept the commandment which the I am thy God commanded thee. God did not command you on no water baptism. God did not command you on all these other things. He commanded you that you should be circumcised your child on the 8th day of his birth. Now, why would you not keep the commandment which the I am thy God commands you? Keep the Sabbath day. What is the Sabbath day? It's the lunar Sabbath, really. But they give it labels. God created the moon, the sun. This is God's stuff. This is the natural way. He didn't say no Saturday, no Egyptian, no Greco-Roman day system, which loses everything. He had his own system. Out of darkness, God brought light. Out of darkness, a baby comes into the light of this world. Out of darkness, the moon comes from behind whatever planet or sun or whatever it does. It comes and is shown. At the first showing of the moon is the new moon. 7 days after that is the Sabbath of that new month. The 7th day. But you say, oh, I don't like this, quote, quote, this lunar Sabbath mess. Somebody paying you for something, but either way, let's keep continuing. But either way, let's go. But thou camest back and hast eaten the bread and drunk the water in the place of which the I am did said unto thee, eat no bread, drink no water, thy carcass shall not come unto the sepulchre of thy fathers. In other words, your carcass is gonna be laying out in the open, man. You just threw it away because you took the stature and the position of this guy who said he was, and how did you know he is? This is a fallacy of the children of Jacob, going after everything, going after the traditions and ways of other nations. This is our fallacy. Yes, it's a hard trek. Some of you have been taught this ever since you were a child. You was a baby, and this is where your mind is. This is what they call the matrix now. Your mind is flowing that way. You cannot learn. You cannot educate. You cannot create. You cannot free think because your mind is down this religious thing that keeps you poor. That keeps you. You're not free to think. You're not free to wonder. You're not free to speak your mind. Oh, they'll do it for us. Who is they? They just as dumb as you are. Money doesn't make you smart. But because you're smart, you will make money. Some people are just giving what they're given. It's called education. You can be self-taught, educated, whatever. If you can think, you can earn. If you can earn, then you can enjoy the things of the fruit of your labor. Yes, you can. And when you do it the way God says do it, every time we lend somebody money, even the heathen, because he's going to be judged by the same laws, regardless of whether he thinks he's going to be charged by the same laws. He says, well, I'm going to give you 9% APR on this. Okay. You take it. He's just sin. He's in sin. But you turn around and take your brother, which God told you not, an Israelite, you will not exact usury on him. No, you will not do this. But on them, as they do you, you do to them the same, not an Israelite brother or sister. You give them that loan face value. No, you ain't gonna make no money. He didn't even say do like the Muslim, upcharge. Just lend them the money and they give it back. If they can't pay it back, then hey, that's just money you just got in reserve. That's all it is. You looking to make a profit, then they pay for your services. Money is not a service. Well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to just digress. We'll get into that later. And behold, men passed by and saw the carcass cast in the way, and the lion standing by the carcass, and they came and told it in the city where the old prophet dwelt. In other words, he met his test right there when the old prophet. Don't trust any preacher, teacher, anything when it comes to the law of the Most High. What it says is what it says. But God does know in this day and time some things we cannot do. Some things will take time. Some things we're ignorant of. His mercy endureth forever. It depends on the circumstance and the condition of our hearts, whether his mercy applies in that situation. Can no man forgive your sins? No one. And when the prophet that brought him back from the way heard thereof, he said, is this the man of God who was disobedient unto the word of the I am? Therefore the I am hath delivered him unto the lion, which, oh, but there was no lion there. Yes, there were lions there. The animals go where the food are. If the place is turning into desert, the animal's gonna go where the green, luscious things are. The world was new, practically new during that time. So it's going to go back. As the desertification, as they put it, started, the animals started migrating toward that. And then most of the stuff went back towards sub-Saharan Africa. Some of it even went toward north, toward Russia. The bears went that way. Some of it everywhere, because you had the where they say Turkey is where the Mount Ararat is, somewhere in that area. Turkey. Yes, you have as many of us already know, that the Garden of Eden and all that stuff. Man was not created in the Garden of Eden. He was placed in the Garden of Eden. But still, that does result in it being in Africa. Okay, we'll give you that. That's good. But the fact is that the ark landed further north of that and toward the east. And this is where man started out at for the second time, at the second time. So there is where we start from. We ain't worried about where man came from in Africa. We thinking about where he migrated from after he got off the boat. Think about it. Think about it. Shout out to that brother. But either way, he spake to his son, saying, saddle me an ass, and they saddled him. And he went and found his carcass cast away, and the ass and the lion standing by the carcass, and the lion had not eaten the carcass, nor torn the ass. And the prophet looked up, took up the carcass of the man, and laid it upon the ass, and brought it back. This was nobody but the Most High. He controls everything, even the beasts of the field. And the old prophets came. Oh, you gonna judge God? God was evil in that time. Oh, that was so hideous of God. You fool. It would be something God charged you and then having a lion or a dog eat you. And see how your family or your people look at it. And every time come after you. And take everything in your household and eat it until someone say, to God be the glory, who does what as he pleases. And it came, and it brought it back, and the old prophet came to the city to mourn and to bury him. And he laid his carcass in his own grave, and they mourned over him, saying, alas, my brother. And it came to pass after he had buried him, he spake to his son, says, when I am dead, then bury me in the sepulchre where the man of God is buried, and lay my bones beside his bones. He messed up. That was a spirit took hold of that prophet, and it wasn't the spirit of God. It wasn't a spirit it was an evil spirit. For he sang which he cried by the word of the I am against the altar of Bethel, and against all the houses of the high places which are in the cities of Samaria, and shall surely come to pass. And after this thing, Jeroboam returned not from his evil way, but made again of the lowest people priests and high places. See, this is what I talk about, mixing the things of God with the things of these idols. You've seen all their names in chapter 12. Mixing the things of God with idols, what Jeroboam did. But this is by the commandment of the Most High. He pushed the 10 tribes of Israel away as he did the other nations. They could not even if they wanted to, they couldn't worship God. Because he had already given their mind over to wickedness. The wickedness that they do is against the commandments and against God himself. See, we have to really see this thing. Some of us have such short memories because we're so wrapped up in this world. Period. It doesn't matter to us about this. And the thing, Jeroboam returned not from his evil ways, but made again the lowest people priests. I mean, here they is, not even of the children of who? The Levites. Ain't got a Levite bone in the body. And this thing became sin unto the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off and to destroy it from off the face of the earth. Now, Jeroboam. To say it again, the law, commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the Most High is the way, the truth, and the life. And with that, you will have peace.
Walk with me.